The ANC in the Western Cape is holding its first elective conference since 2015. Delays forced the postponement of the opening yesterday. Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula is now expected to open it this morning. Richard Gianti, Cameron Dugmore, Justin Dealende and Lerumo Kalako are vying to lead the province. ENCA's Ayesha Ismail is monitoring the conference for us and joins us live from the Cape Town Convention Centre right now. Ayesha, a big moment for beleaguered, I believe we can call them, ANC in the Western Cape, as they finally have been able to get their act together to get an elective conference going.
Good morning, Marcel, but I'm going to take you straight to the ANC's spokesperson here in the Western Cape, Sifiso Mutsweni. Sifiso, what has been the delay?
Okay, good morning, colleagues. Thank you very much. This is going to be a very short briefing. I can confirm now that we've done most of the registration throughout the night. All delegates have now been sorted in their places to sleep. You'd remember that yesterday we had to adjourn a little bit because there were some challenges where delegates were registered, but when they got to their places, they found that hotels had actually double booked in some cases. So we've now sorted out all those problems. As we talk now, as you can see, everybody's coming into the venue. The conference will be underway shortly. The leadership, we've now adopted the credentials of the conference. We've now adopted the program of the conference. We are expecting now the provincial convener, Comrade Lerumo, to actually come and deliver his political report. But before that, we'll start with the national anthem. We'll also get messages of support from the alliance partners, from the leagues. They'll be addressing us shortly. Comrade Fikile Mbalula is still here. We're expecting him to also deliver his message, although he'll be leaving today. And we are expecting everything to be underway. The elections agency will come in today and present all the nominations. But we just want to say that indeed we were very ambitious yesterday, that normally in any conference registration becomes a standalone on one day. But on our side, we try to be efficient to deal with registration and the start of the conference. But what we've now realized is that delegates had to travel from far to come to the conference, and some of them had changed. So we no longer had the same delegates that were nominated in the branch. So we had to start the process of ensuring that the replacements are the ones that are chosen in the branches. There were some branches, based on the verification report, that we found that after certain investigations they had to be disqualified. Others that had actually appealed to the National Dispute Resolution Committee were to actually put them back into the report. So we're really just cleaning up everything so that by the time this conference starts, we're not boggled down to delegates coming here to raise issues that are related to credentials. So we've now cleaned up everything, and we're expecting to go this morning.
But you've set aside 3 days for this conference. We're now on day 2, and day 1 hasn't even started yet.
Well, day 1 did start. I think the mistake that we tend to make, all of us, is to think that registration is not part of conference. When you talk about registration, that's part of the conference. So the conference has begun, but there were smaller teething problems as it relates to issues of accommodation, as it relates to issues of registration. And I'm saying that we've worked throughout the night now. And I can confidently tell you now, all the secretaries now have met with the provincial coordinator. We've now consolidated all the information. The conference will be underway. As you can see, the delegates are actually in the venue.
The opening address by the Secretary-General did not take place yesterday, along with a whole lot of other things that were on the program for day 1. Well,
I agree. I'm saying we were very ambitious on our side, that will deal with both registration and the opening. And by the way, Ayesha, you'd know, the nature and character of conferences is that as much as you've got expected delegates, from time to time you'll have this type of delays. At least we were quite quicker. Some provinces it takes 3 days, others 4 days. You'd remember the national conference itself took quite a number of days just to deal with the registration. I think we've done quite well to push it to this level. And as I'm talking to you now, as I'm saying, the delegates are here. We will obviously tweak the program there so that we ensure that by tomorrow everything is done. But what is critical for today is that there has to be an announcement of the nominations. There has to be the voting for the top 5 today. And immediately after the voting of the top 5 and the results are announced, we are going to have nominations for additional members based on what has happened in the branches. And then throughout tonight as well as tomorrow, there will be the voting for the additionals. And I can tell you by the time we sleep tonight, we'll know who's the new chairperson of the ANC Western Cape.
And are you confident that there's been no bribery and no corruption so far?
Well, there's nothing that is reported to us. We will be reading the rules of conference as well. One of the things that we've been very clear about is that we don't want any external influence in this conference. The Western Cape cannot afford that. We don't want people who are going to come here and use money to try and influence these delegates. And I'm sure you can pick up even the mood of the delegates. We're all singing one song. Everybody is in one spirit. Yes, there's different contenders. And we've actually said to the contenders that not a single contender should use money to influence the outcome. Should there be any report that a particular candidate has actually used money to influence that particular candidate will be disqualified immediately. It's part of the rules. Should we find out that, I mean, yesterday when we adjourned, part of why we did that is to make sure that in our hotels, the ones that we have booked as this leadership, it's delegates that are actually sleeping there. So that delegates don't go around sleeping elsewhere in something that is not actually booked by us. In many instances, you'd find that people who are using money will actually book their own accommodation, will book their own transport. I'm confirming to you now, all the transport that the ANC has booked has been utilized. All the hotels that the ANC has booked has been utilized. So there's nothing that indicates now that any form of money has actually been used. All the delegates, they are wearing the same regalia that we've provided for them. So we don't want any other regalia from outside. So should there be an indication that people have actually used money, we'll actually deal with it within this plenary.
The Romo Kalako last night adjourned the session.
Yes.
And he was saying that he was going to go from hotel to hotel, to room.
Yeah.
Did that actually happen, and what was the outcome?
That happened. We've gone to the hotels. We've looked at the guest lists of the hotel, and we've measured it against our own delegates list. And I can tell you now that where we found that people are in the rooms that they are not supposed to be, we have removed them. So one of the things that really made us nervous is because you've got delegates from the Veterans League. I mean, people who are 60 years, 70 years, who arrived in the hotels and they were not having their rooms. Now they've got their rooms. The Women's League has been accommodated. The Youth League has been accommodated. Everyone who was not supposed to be in the rooms, we have actually taken them out. So the door-to-door was actually done.
But who were these people in these rooms?
Well, you see, the problem with ANC conferences is that as much as you invite delegates, the interest becomes more on the people who are actually not the delegates, what we refer to as friends of delegates. So we found that delegates brought their friends, and their friends, while we are here doing the business, they decided to serve themselves on things that they don't deserve. So I can tell you now, all the friends of delegates are out, and we have made sure that everybody who's supposed to be accommodated has been accommodated. Everybody's fresh now. We're actually going to start the conference, as you can see at the background. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. And that was the ANC spokesperson here in the Western Cape, Sifiso Mtsweni, just giving us an update as to what caused the delays. And he's saying that, and well, not only he's saying that, but as you can hear and see, that the conference is about to start. And let's see what happens during the course of the day. I know that most of today will be closed to the media, and then of course we heard that Fikile Mbalula will be doing the opening address, and we're expecting President Cyril Ramaphosa to close the session tomorrow.